we are going to talk about his other teammate, Christian Koloko, who is big, obviously. 7 foot, center. He's a little bit older, 22 years of age. I've debated on this show, I haven't debated because I've just told people what I think about it, is that centers at this sort of height without really a game-changing talent, I'm not really sure what the point of even taking them in the first round is, or even inside the top 40 or 45. Can Koloko be better than that? Is he, compared to Mark Williams, compared to Walker Kessler? Like, where does he fit there? Would you bother with a draft pick on him? Is he good enough to do that, especially at that advanced age? Or is the defensive stuff, the rim protection stuff, the finishing, all good enough to justify being perhaps a first-round player? Like, we've seen some of these guys get picked towards the end of the first round. Shout out, Udoka Azubuike, just as big blokes who stand in front of the rim. And I'm not saying Koloko's the same guy, and obviously that hasn't worked out particularly well. But Azubuike, and it always seems to be a bit of a waste of a pick there when there are other wings on the board. So where does Koloko fit in terms of, hey, is he draftable? Is that value that he provides good enough to not take a swing on an upside wing or guard?
Yeah, I think I have Koloko probably on my board, or if I were to do a board exactly around 40 or 45. I think that's pretty spot on for his ceiling and for where he kind of is valued. I definitely agree that these very limited centers who are maybe able to dominate in college with their size are often risky. Like someone like Azubuike, or Vernon Carey, or just guys like that. But I think what separates Koloko from guys like Azubuike, especially, is he is a ridiculously good mover. He can really move his feet, get out on the perimeter in drop coverage and hedges, and really bother guards and cover ground. And I think when you combine that with his kind of hilarious size, I think there's real potential utility there for an interesting backup big defender. Because there are a lot of bigger mobile guys in the league now, and I think Koloko is certainly an option to kind of check those guys because he is so long and so big and can really move. But like I said, offense is super raw. Is basically just going to be a guy who dunks. That's about it. So he's going to need guys who can enable that. And not every team, especially on the bench, is going to have players who can get him the ball in spots where he needs to. So I think he's probably worth a second round pick just because he is huge and moves, but I share a lot of the concerns that I think you do as well. So
a couple of things with him is he's had a 21% usage where his teammate Dalen Terry had 14, which is weird. That's just something I wanted to mention. Another thing with him is he's a good free throw shooter, 74%. And I have heard whispers that he claims that he's got a 3-point shot. I don't know how true that's going to be. We've heard that Steven Adams apparently has a 3-point shot as well. It's been 10 years and I haven't seen that.
We've been waiting to see that, haven't we?
Oh yeah, Steven Adams in practice, he's hitting every three, and I don't doubt that's true. I think he's taking about
it's
two
like the
in a game.
Andre Drummond and Mitchell Robinson thing.
Yep.
Where every summer we see workouts of them hitting threes, and all the fans are like, "Why can't you just practice layups and stuff?"
But of course, the problem with that is that we can laugh at that, but then guys will come out, Brook Lopez will come out, Al Horford will come out, Marc Gasol will come out, never shoot a three ever, and then all of a sudden, they're banging in, attempting 5 a game and hitting them at 38%. So when a big man claims that, you got to go, oh, okay, well maybe. I've seen these guys who had no business being able to shoot threes, just all of a sudden flick a switch and do it. So maybe he could do it, and the good free throw percentage makes me think, okay, maybe there is a little bit of touch here. Maybe he can do that. If he could do that, if he could attempt 2 or 3 threes a game and hit him at 35%, does that change your thinking on him?
Oh, well, I mean, if in that world, I think he's undoubtedly a very good player.
Okay.
I don't really think that's very likely. Just because I think actually shooting is a lot more important of an indicator, especially for bigs, than free throws. Koloko isn't even a guy who really shoots mid ranges. I think of an old Zeke Naji, an Arizona big who got drafted a couple years ago.
Yeah, but he can shoot threes now. He's taken threes.
Oh, right, but he was an awesome mid-range shooter in college. Okay. He was a really great long 2 shooter. Whereas Koloko doesn't really shoot.
Yep.
And I think there just aren't a lot of players, or really any, who were total non-shooters from everywhere in college and ended up being real shooters in the league. And I think like that's certainly an optimistic projection. I mean, I would certainly be happy if it happened. I think Kloko's really cool, and I think if he ended up being a shooter, that would be super fun. Yeah, I mean anything's possible, but I certainly wouldn't bet on it.